Hello, snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host, Avran LeFeber, and this is Top 5s, the only weekly Top 5 show you're watching right now. Unless you've got dual or triple or quadruple screens going, then I don't know why you're watching multiple Top 5 shows. Anyways, in this episode, we're going to be talking about the top 5 freestyle bindings for 2022-2023. That's right, you want to get your jib on, maybe you're going to hit a jump, maybe you just want to butter around. These are going to be the bindings for you. Number 5, the Jones Meteorite. I know, you're thinking to yourself, Jones bindings, freestyle, what's going on here? Here's what I like about it. You get that skate tech in there that's going to give you that power down into your toe and heel edge. But with the strap and high back flex on this binding, you get that lateral play right where you need it, but it's not so overabundant that you lose any drive. Basically, this is for someone with more of like a surfy, powerful style to it, where they're gonna slash up on a bank, then press onto a rail, and then right when they need to go hit a jump, they get that added little bit of power to it. This binding is super solid for what it actually is. It's kind of an all-mountain with a more freestyle focus to it binding. Number 4, the Rome Vice. I consider this a true workhorse, slightly more freestyle centric binding. That Asym wrap, that strap on there, everything works in conjunction to just be a well-balanced freestyle binding. You got good customization with it, good dampening underfoot. It's just a binding that can kind of do it all in the park or on the mountain if you absolutely need to. And with that asymmetrical shape to it, it really does let you leverage your weight on the outside for buttering and presses. Number 3, the Ride C6. It's kind of that middle of the road with a little more freestyle focused in the Ride binding line. With it being in the C series, that means it's composite underfoot, which just gives the binding a little more lateral flex in there. The straps are solid so you can get power out of them when you need, but when you're trying to just jib, press, butter, play around, it's not so demanding that you're forcing yourself to just drive right through it. The ratchets work really well. Overall, super solid binding. Number 2, the Bataleon Blaster Asym. Make sure you get the Asym. You don't want the full wrap, otherwise you're gonna get more power out of it, but the Asym wrap. Bataleon redid their bindings and they borrowed the chassis from Rome, and it shows. You can see it in the base plate and the heel cup, but then the high back, the straps, the footbed are all different. And these bindings really blew me away with the way they flexed, how they rode. It was just a really solid, damp, yet playful binding, which just meant when you're hitting like micro chatter ruts, chop and whatnot in the landing of something, you didn't feel that energy coming up underfoot, which is super solid. You want something like that that isn't going to fatigue you when you're slamming hard coming off of a feature all day in the park. Honorable mentions, all great options, but just barely didn't crack the top 5 of this list. The Burton Malavita, say goodbye, it's gone next year. The Bent Metal Joint, the K2 lineup. Like I said, all great options, but just barely didn't crack the top 5 of this list. And the number 1 freestyle binding for 2022-2023 is the Union Ultra. I got on this binding and I was like, wow, this is actually probably the best Union binding I've gotten on in a long time. It's got 360 degrees of play just based on the shape of the base plate with that mini disc, so you can really just feel your ankles flexing around, which is great when you're just trying to butter or jib with, but it still had some precision to it for when you needed to pop off of a jump or just lay a turn with it. Sure, the high back has 6 degrees of forward lean in it, and you're probably going to feel that if you have a boot that's straight up and down, but most people's boots actually have about anywhere from 3 to 12 degrees of natural forward lean in there. So it will almost match up to most boots. Overall, this binding, it just kind of blew me away. The way that bushing sits on the bottom of it, it's really good at dampening landings and whatnot. For someone that's not a Union fanboy, and I will openly admit this, that they have some stuff that I like in certain parts of their bindings, but there's never been one binding where I'm like, wow, I really like this. This blew me away. That's why it's making it to number 1 on this list. If you're a freestyle rider or someone that just wants more of a surfy feel to their binding and has a more playful style of riding, this is something you definitely need to be considering. This has been my top 5 freestyle bindings for 2022-2023. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own a pair? Are you going to buy a pair? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this list. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I've got to continue to be your host because I'm chained to this table, and I'll see you in another video.